been live for like 5 minutes, so.
Oh. Well then.
Welcome to the Nightly Grind. Tonight is September 23rd, 2016.
Bone could never play poker in a million fucking years. They're like trying to keep a straight face, and he's been failing miserably.
We had discussed it on the forums. I was noticing people noticing it. It was funny. So we have a couple things to talk about. It's a little bit of a slow week this week.
I don't know. I thought I was pretty busy.
Ooh, challenge throw.
On guard. The first one I think is the funniest one. Is an indie developer that is called Digital Homicide is suing 100 apparently Steam community members over abusive comments. And the way I first heard this was negative reviews, but apparently they were a little more than just negative. Like apparently there was death threats and things like that in the comments.
Oh my god. Death threats on a forum. Somebody stop the presses.
That never happened.
Well,
that's a first.
Yeah.
Well, from what I read on it, it wasn't just to the forum. It was actually to his personal email and stuff like that too.
But how do they know? How can they tie it back to the user, the Steam user? Anyways, they're also apparently going to be taking action against Valve now because, as a result of this lawsuits, Valve has dropped them off of Steam entirely.
All right, I have a question here. The game company's named Digital Homicide.
Yes.
I think there's a little hypocrisy here, just a smidgen.
That's true. I didn't think about that.
How many games did they pull?
I don't know how many games they had. They're a small indie
Every
dev.
game of theirs, right?
Check it out. This is the same developer that brought a $10 million lawsuit against Jim Sterling for him
So they're
for
just
a review that he did.
Figures.
Their lawsuit was for libel, slander, and assault after Jim Sterling called them out for being little more than asset flips. I guess they were taking other things and just rebrandishing them and then releasing them is essentially what he was saying. James Romine, I think this is how his last name is pronounced. He's the boss, I guess, at Digital Homicide. And he said, quote, by removing, this is talking to Valve, he said, by removing us, they have taken the stance that users have the right to harass me, tell me I should kill myself and assault my family. If I try to defend myself against said actions, then I lose my family's income. If it wasn't for 2 years of experience of dealing with Steam on a regular basis, this disgusting stance would seem shocking to me. The only thing that prevented me from seeking legal counsel for a long list of breaches of contracts, interferences with business, and antitrust issues was the fear of losing my family's income. Since that has been taken away, I am seeking legal representation. So he's essentially saying he's suing Steam or Valve.
That's why you do an LLC, so it doesn't tie in your personal finances into the company you're running. But
I'm assuming it is probably something along those lines. I think he's talking about income as in this is his job.
Well, unfortunately, the problem when you do a company is that you run the risk that you are going to fail miserably and have to suffer the consequences of it. I don't. If it is that people that were involved with the Jim Sterling aspect, Sterling was pointing out the fact they basically were taking other people's product and just repackaging it and then putting their name on it. So I mean, yeah, there's really no. This is just a money grab. Things aren't going the way I want it to, so I'm going to sue.
I'd like to make a personal recommendation that he just keep his money and shut his mouth and not spend the last of his money on representation and walk away.
Nah, this is probably more of a. I don't think this lawsuit will have any legs. He's probably trying to hope that the whole SJW type thing will stand behind him because of the death threats and crap like that. But I don't know if that's going to be a legitimate issue because it's It just sounds to me like this is one of those people that they thought there was going to be a get-rich-quick type thing, and it's failed miserably, so now they're going to start trying to throw legal aspects into it. And hopefully
they have and improve the game so they get better reviews.
Well, see, that would actually require work. It's a lot easier to, I being fouled and try to sue. And I can understand if he was trying to do something against the community that, quote-unquote, has offended him in some way, which I guess he can go talk to any other game developer out there, and I guarantee you right now, if you contacted EA, Ubisoft, or any of the other hated game companies,
Chris Roberts.
Chris Roberts. I guarantee they get more than one death threat a day.
Or Hello Games, who just released whatever it's called.
And it's
yeah, whatever. I don't remember.
yeah. I'm just saying, I guarantee they get more than one death threat a day, and I guarantee if you go on their forums, you'll find more than enough people screaming bloody murder about going down to EA and throwing a Molotov cocktail to the front window. But they realize that it's just idiots on the internet, and that's like how morons generally react. So, you know, the reason I see money grab is he's 100% into suing Valve, which is just going, oh, they got deep pockets. You know, and hopefully maybe the negative publicity will be such that they'll settle out of court and I can make some money. I hope Valve beats his ass with a fucking bat and just, you know.
They're thinking wrong. That's not happening.
What?
Thinking that Valve will cave in because of bad.
I hope not.
There's probably stuff written into their contracts to protect them against that kind of a thing.
I would hope so.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure they thought about this before.
Yeah,
not even that. Like just like bad reps, so they're gonna try and do hush money kind of thing, like under the table. Like, hey, stop talking about it. I don't think that's gonna happen either because Valve has its own bad rep going around for like just. The service wasn't the greatest in the beginning, so it had bad rep there.
Look at the Steam store. Steam's got enough problems.
Yeah. At the same time, it's like, oh no, one game that's crying wolf.
Yeah. And the thing the reason that would concern me above all else is that if they cave to this kind of moronic bullshit, anybody that releases a game on there and has negative comments or negative reviews on there has precedent to go, well, I can sue Valve because the comment system's the reason why my game doesn't sell, and it's Valve's fault for having that system. So it's Valve better fight this tooth and nail. Like I said, they better beat him to death with lawyers, just bury him in litigation. But
they've already revised their review. What's it called? Like how they review games and stuff like that on Valve.
Yeah, they did it again.
They had to do it again just because of that.
Yeah, like I said, that might be the reason why they started doing it a little bit in the first place. It could be them setting up the groundworks. Maybe there is legal ramification there, but it still does. It just we live in a litigious society. If people can figure out a way to try to sue to make money, they're going to. So, you know,
money.
There's always dicks in the world.
Yeah,
and Shadow's one of them.
Yeah. Okay, here's my deck comment. Hopefully, if he does win, whether he wins or loses, hopefully one of those crazy psychos that made a death threat makes right with that comment.
Oh gosh,
that'll solve that problem
terrible
right there.
Thing to say.
That's called karma. But you know,
and karma's a bitch.
Yeah, karma's a bitch.
In both League and real life.
I don't think he's going to get the support he thinks he's going to get from the community.
No, well, the same thing happened when he tried to sue Jim Sterling. He got huge backlash over it, and people were shitting on. It's the Streisand.
That's why I said maybe he should just keep his money and.
Judging by, I would assume the way he's acting and crying and probably talking along the lines how he's financially ruined. I'm assuming that he doesn't have enough money, or he's got just enough to probably try to hire a lawyer.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, I don't know why you're hiring me.
Don't hire the lawyers. Save your money.
Go work for another company.
Take your licks and move on while you have some money. And
unless nobody will hire him anymore.
Hey,
well, I was about to say, no one probably will hire him now. The whole thing.
They're not going to hire him after this whole thing's over.
He, like I'm sure a lot of people on Steam, and judging by the Steam store, have thought themselves to be some kind of great game developer just because they read about it in a book somewhere and they thought they could do it. And then they realize that there's a lot more to actual game development than just having a good idea. It's actually, you know, a pretty in-depth process. And they release trash.
I think most people just get in over their heads. They
without a doubt
spend all their time doing the game, and they don't take care of all the other stuff that comes along with it.
It's a ridiculous amount of work.
Yeah, and I think it's something we've all talked about before. It's like we'd all love nothing more than sit around and play video games all day and, you know, shit, get paid for it. Wouldn't that be great? But it's, you know, it's great. The reason why that you have game companies, the reason why you have stuff like that is because they're paid to do something and make a profit. If they make a profit, they continue doing it. If they don't, they go away. That's what happens when studios fail. But if you want to do it yourself, that's all fine and dandy, but it ain't going to pay the fucking bills. And Steam's got this really bad vibe going, and I think it's part of the problem with the Steam store right now, where a lot of people go, I have a great idea, I'm going to put it on Steam and try to get it greenlit, and then hopefully enough people will buy my game to pay for me to actually finish it. And they don't realize that people buy into games, and they want to have, you know, they may like the idea. I think a lot of them buying it thinking they're getting more, you know, we'll go with the No Man's Sky, they're paying for a product that's not the way it is. They kind of like, you know, think there's more to it than it is, or they read about their long-term goals and they don't realize this is long-term 4 or 5 years down the line if he gets funding and keeps getting funding. And
it's like Kickstarter Mini,
Yeah, and it's like when the guy gets money or doesn't get the money he thinks he's going to get up front, nothing's ever going to come. Then he's going to deal with the people that bought the game and are unhappy at the fact they kind of didn't get what they paid for. You know what I mean? And part of that's caveat emptor, buyer beware. You're paying for a product that's not finished. It's kind of your own fault. But they are going to go out and complain and bitch and moan. And do they have the right to do that? I would say yeah. Sure. But yet again, they're the ones who paid in, so it's kind of their own fault. But
I don't know. I'm split on this because I really, really won't like indie games. I want to encourage people to make indie games. I think they're an important part of the community. I was getting tired of just waiting for AAA titles. I like the indie games to supplement in between. But there's just so many of them, so it's hard to get.
Well, the good ones rise to the top.
There's but
well, sometimes the good ones rise to the top and they crash.
A million of them in there.
Sometimes the bad ones rise to the top because they get so much publicity on how bad they are, and people pick it up because they don't believe it.
Oh yeah, and it's sometimes they rise just because they're so bad. It's
hype.
Yeah, I mean all of us have dropped money on crap games here, every one of us. You know what I mean?
And what was that one that started with a D?
That was the one we played that we all returned that same day.
No, I'm talking about the one that we all backstarted or on Indiegogo.
We're not talking about that.
Divergence.
It was close, dude. You almost got him to say it.
We're not talking about that one.
We don't talk about Divergence.
We don't talk about Divergence. It's like Fight Club. We don't talk about it.
No. It's the game that shall not be named.
And he's asking for more money. I know we talked about it in the other one, but
Ethan Kashner asking for more. No, is it Ethan Kashner? I think that's the guy's name.
He has a new game too.
He's asking for more money. I
don't think I want people to make indie games, but I want them to do it right. I want them to take the time to understand what they're getting into and to build it up and not just like here. These junk games that just don't. They just flood they turn people off to more indie games because they're just junk.
Well, there's clearly successful indie games that are a model for everybody else to follow.
Terraria.
Sure.
Yeah.
Even Starbound, which apparently is very good now.
Stardew Valley.
Stardew Valley is a good one, yeah.
Built by one guy on the Microsoft Games Work or whatever the hell that thing's called.
Yeah, it's doing very well.
He built that whole game by himself on from what I know, it's like one of the hardest APIs to work with.
Well, I think I get about this though is that I think the problem is there's really there's three types of developers out there. You have the actual AAA developers, which are 100% profit orientated.
And they also have a bigger team to get stuff done.
Yeah, and we have our issues, we have our problems. We talk about it weekly about pre-ordering and DLC and all the shit that comes with that. But then what you're getting into with a AAA game.
Yeah.
Then you have your indie crowd, and I think there's really two distinct sides of indie. It's the people that are there because of the love of the game. They're motivated to make the game. Their goal is to make the game of their dreams, and they don't. It shows and it reflects in their work.
Yeah.
And then there's the people that are there that go, I can make money fast. And it automatically reflects in their work as well because they're usually not putting the same type of zeal into their production. And I think that's the difference between a lot of indie games is you see the ones that it's a labor of love. A guy that's going to do it by himself and, take 2 years to do it and not sit there and beg for more money every other week so he can buy groceries. Versus the guy that's out there suing Valve because people are talking nasty about him, and it's
call my wife a hamster,
and it's just that's the big thing. A lot of the times the good games are ones you've never heard about until they're out, and that's a person that's done it on his own time, working in a full-time job somewhere else, or has actually gone to a bank and said, "Hey, loan me money." Here's my idea, and the bank has said, sure. I mean, you can get a small business loan for stuff like that if you actually can show that you're,
willing
to put the time and work in. I mean, it can be done, but it's just, there's definitely a level. It's like we talked about Nintendo's Banhammer whenever somebody makes a Nintendo title. That's a labor of love. They realize they have to know instinctively that Nintendo's going to come down on them like a 10-ton hammer. and they're not going to.
I want to quickly stop you there. Speaking of Nintendo quickly and ban hammering, Shadow's probably the only one that really might know Studio Ghibli in general, but there's a guy that did a fan creation of Legend of Zelda in Studio Ghibli's art style.
Really?
As a concept trailer. It's like 2 minutes long or whatever. And he did concept posters, and everyone thought it was a real thing that Studio Ghibli was doing Legend of Zelda. And I'm just like, when I saw the video, I thought it was brilliant. Like, you could tell it was like just concept because there's some errors here and there. But it came down to just the fact, like, in my mind, I'm thinking like, and Nintendo's gonna get a hold of this and ban the guy. I probably should have got you the trailer, Bone. We could have watched that.
That would have been awesome because I'm a Ghibli fan, but yeah.
And Sega's on the other end of the spectrum saying that fans should do Sonic games.
It's not just Sonic. Sega's like, hey, make tributes, do our games. That Sega hires a lot of those people.
Well, Sega's desperate to have some of their own IPs remade because they've done a horrible job of making it themselves. So
yeah. Yeah. They kind of screwed up when they did that not sequel, the third series of Toe Jam and Earl on the 360. Not the greatest. No.
Next.
I don't remember that one.
You don't know Toe Jam and Earl?
I remember the third one.
The third one was on the 360. It's horrible.
Anyways, some World of Warcraft news. Apparently, some information is coming out from the public test realm on 7.1. Excuse me. A few quick items about it. There's going to be indicators on your items that are in your bag to tell you that they're upgrades. A few of these are things that already exist if you have an add-on, but they're adding it into the game itself. There's going to be a quick join option in your friends list. I have no idea what that means.
Probably like quick join to a party or some shit like that.
So
like
you don't have to accept, or I'm curious to see how it works.
I'm guessing it's going to be like Diablo, where maybe like you quick join and it's like if it's just you and a friend, it automatically does it.
Lets you do it. You don't have to.
Or it might like say like, hey, your friend wants to join you. Will you let him? Like in Diablo, like, hey, I'm requesting to join. Oh, will you invite me? Green check mark X.
Yeah, maybe. Rather than only being invited.
They're taking a lot of Diablo 3 stuff and putting it into WoW right now. So.
Yeah, that's true. Flight path maps are going to be showing quest objectives and NPCs to help you pick your route. And you can also choose to show no belt in your transmog to go along with your back, head, and shoulders, which you can hide as well.
Owen will love that.
I show my belt all the time, man. There's some cool belts out there. In other Blizzard news, the company is removing the name Battle.net. They'll still be using the service. Battle.net will still exist. They're just going to be using the Blizzard nomenclature instead. So Blizzard Streaming and Blizzard Voice are two things that already exist. They're going to be continuing doing things like that.
It was supposed. I guess there was a report saying that it was going to be Blizzard Tech, but then one of Blizzard reps came back out saying that it's not going to be Blizzard Tech.
Yeah. Or
Blizzard Technology or whatever. So.
Yep.
So who knows what the actual game's going to be? If it's just going to be Blizzard stuff.
I guess the Battle.net name is sticking around. They're just referring to these things that as under other names. I mean, Battle.net's been around forever.
20 years. I think the launch of Diablo.
Jeez, that's crazy.
It hasn't been around for 20 years.
Battle.net.
What are you doing?
Fixing the focus. No, Battle.net's only been around for maybe 8 years. I think it was released after, within the first like 3 or 4 years of Warcraft, because they were using it for the new patch engine, because originally the game was patched in a completely half-ass way. So I'm pretty sure, but I'm not 100% sure. I may be wrong. It could be with Diablo too.
I think you're wrong.
I'm not sure. Doesn't really. It's a long time.
It wasn't fully integrated then.
Yeah, it's been a long time. And the Battle.net forums have been around just as long as that. And they're actually fairly useful forums. They're not like most games forums which blow.
There's forums, Blizzards?
Yeah, Blizzards. They're actually fairly useful at times. DICE has announced some upcoming changes to Battlefield 1 based on player input and some data that they got out of the beta.
Are they deleting that map?
I don't think they're deleting the map.
I think you guys are not happy about that sandstorm map.
What a shame.
It was not a fun map. Conquest mode scoring will no longer be position held only. It'll also include kills.
Tickets.
Yeah, kill tickets.
I actually like that because that was one of the things that kind of was annoying. That dying was not a negative influence on the team, and that's something that sucked.
Yeah.
So.
They're making changes to the rush mode, but they didn't say what. So I don't even know why they said anything.
What?
They're making changes to rush mode, but they didn't say.
Rush mode sucked, but it was probably due to the fact the map sucked.
Could be.
Oh.
And balancing for both vehicles and horses, with a specific mention of how much damage light tanks and horses can take.
Oh, good. So light tanks aren't going to be unstoppable killing machines, and horses won't be able to do a saber swipe from 70 yards away.
Yes. How did they kill me? Watch replay.
No, it was literally sad how it was like a box twice the size of the horse was tall as long for the saber sword. I mean, it was literally like they didn't even need to be near you. Tor knows what I'm talking about. I'm sure he got killed.
8 feet away at least. They'll take him out easy.
It was like the really crappy 80s action movies where the guy shoots 3 times and 8 people fall over dead. The horse would just jump and he would swing the saber and everybody around him would die. Even people on the other side of the horse that weren't near the strike would just fall over dead. So it was really.
Those are the best movies ever.
No, they're not.
That's what it was like. It was like a comedy where they swing the sword and everybody within 10 feet would just fall over dead.
Didn't they also?
Hot Shots. It was a Hot Shots movie with the horse.
Wasn't there also back in Battlefield 4, they had in the beta where when you reloaded, a hand would come from behind you and give you an ammo clip?
No, that's all stuff you see from people having fun with the lots of graphic engines and stuff like that and messing around with multiple reload animations they like fucking with.
I just remember that one being shown in the beta and people actually the hell was that? No one really knew about that one?
You never seen any of the reload animations? I'll have to find it.
The reload animations from
BF4. It was in the beta.
No, not BF4. It was
sure
from
America's Army did that for a while.
It was from the in between. What was after Battlefield 4?
Hardline.
Hardline. It was from that.
Don't speak of Hardline.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's why nobody knows about the reload animations. That's what they were from. It was 1 in a million or something crazy.
How from BF4 though?
I don't remember, but it's either way. That there a lot of people have had fun with doing their own zany reload animations for that. So
yeah, like a person bringing the clip over your.
Magazine
over your
one of my favorite ones, honestly, is where he unloads the clip and throws the gun and pulls out a new gun and so
Borderlands had some fun with those, the weapons you just throw and they turn into grenades.
Yeah, I think it's the Theodore, right? Was it?
I don't remember.
Yeah, the crappy brand where when you're how much ammo's left in it is how much damage it actually does and whatever.
Yep.
I remember I get SMGs and just chuck them. What about that BF or Borderlands 3? That's gonna be coming soon. I know they teased something about it. No,
I thought I remember something about Borderlands a long time ago, but nothing ever came about it.
I know there's some concept art for number 3, or maybe that was just fan made.
The prequel wasn't as much as a success as I think they hoped.
Oh,
and,
I think that was just a filler to kind of ease people.
I think it was a cash-in.
Maybe.
But Anthony Birch is the guy who wrote the majority of Borderlands 2, no longer works for Gearbox. So I don't think you're going to see Lightning Strike twice. Because, let's face it, the game is relatively a mediocre shooter. What made the game Borderlands was the writing, the characters, and just the insanity of what was going on.
And I definitely think there's a want for a 4-player RPG style first-person shooter. It filled a good niche. I enjoyed that style of game.
I don't know.
I love it. I don't know. I enjoyed playing it. I would like to see a 3 because 1 was okay. There's not much really going on because I think it was more of a trial. Will people actually buy it? Do they think it'll be good? And then 2 came out and the storyline was there. They had a villain, and if they do make a 3, you have to be better than Handsome Jack.
We've talked about this before. I don't think you can. I think it's one of those problems where you kind of hit your.
You hit your wall because you create a Handsome Jack and handsome.
I don't think you can beat
Stallion
Jack as a villain. And like I said, I've said this many times before, the things that made Borderlands 2 great was the fact that it constantly pointed out that your characters were no better than Jack. You were all psychopathic murderers out for one thing, and that was personal.
Especially the Psycho.
The Psycho is probably the only one that actually isn't completely fucking motivated by greed, because he's legitimately crazy. And it's
did you play him a lot?
Yeah.
I wonder how.
Yeah. And that's the thing about that, is that the thing that was great is that his inner voice was the only thing sane, and his inner voice was just trying its hardest to keep the psychotic side in check. But
Craig.
But that was, like I said, that was the best thing about Borderlands 2, was Handsome Jack was an evil son of a bitch, but so were you.
They also had a lot of feels. They also had a lot of feels going on in that.
Well, yeah, but and the only good character, and spoilers, the only really good character in the entire game is
Tiny Tina.
Not rolling.
Tiny Tina. She's not a good character.
She is the best.
The first time you meet Tiny Tina, you're helping her electrocute a random person.
She's great.
Now I understand that random person killed her parents, but she's electrocuting him and torturing him while doing it. So
she's so awesome. Best character
she
ever.
was also voiced by Ashley Birch, who happens to be Anthony Birch's sister. So
yes, and they have a YouTube show together.
What you playing, Ash?
What you playing, Ash? That's a funny one. The last thing Gearbox has released is Battleborn. So they haven't been doing well recently.
And let's not add, the last thing they really had anything to do with releasing before that was that little game called Alien versus Colonial Marines or whatever it was.
Oh yeah.
I don't think they.
Well,
that's
why a lot of people
was in 2013.
Alien Swarm?
That's the only thing you're good at.
Well, they were technically the company that was supposed to be, but they ended up outsourcing it to another company.
Right now, they're working on Duke Nukem 3D 20th Anniversary World Tour. Or it was released already. It might have been released.
It's going to be a slow climb.
It was released on...
You got to start at the bottom and work their way back up, guys.
You talking about Alien Swarm? That Colonial...
No, it was the Colonial Marines.
Different game. That was a Valve.
It was an Aliens game.
It was the Aliens game that got all the bad rep because they showed like a walkthrough that was 100% rendered, and it looked amazing. And then when the game actually came out, it was unbelievably horribly
complete lies.
It was just pathetically bad. I mean, pathetically bad.
Like that other game that was shown like 3 years ago at E3. I can't remember what it was called. The one with the cell phone. You're like an open world.
Watch Dogs.
Yeah, it's that one.
Yeah, that one. It wasn't as bad.
The Colonial Marines make Watch Dogs look good.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was that bad.
Yeah, it was.
So they released
horrible.
In 2013. They released Aliens. Then they released Borderlands pre-sequel, Borderlands Handsome Collection, 2 Homeworld remastered collection, Homeworld Deserts of Karak.
That was the
Karak?
I think it was like an RTS. It was, they really hyped it up and it just fell flat. It had nothing.
Then Battleborn.
I was actually
they've not been doing well. I don't think.
It's sad now because it's got how many people still playing? 500, probably now 400 now.
They desperately need to go free to play.
Like I said last week, the people that their grandmas bought them that instead of Overwatch.
Well, there's I guess a huge cry out because of Paladins, the high res or whatever, the guys that made Smite, that it's a copy of Overwatch or whatever.
It's not a copy.
Yes. Gosh, Todd Howard is involved in that one. Hang on.
What'd you say, Shadow?
It's 100% cloned. They didn't even change some of the names. It's.
I play Paladins and it is pretty fun, and some of the game modes they have is something that it would be nice to see in Overwatch. Where there's capture the point death matches where the arena grows smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until you're basically just whoever's the last one.
You want to see? I think you posted up the donkey video.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah. They're
would
totally different.
Totally.
Yeah. Todd Harris is the COO that was responding about that game. Yeah, it's a sad state. So we got a Rocket League video, the new free new map and 2 new vehicles. It's called Aquadome.
Aquadome. And the next one will be Thunderdome.
They already got a Thunderdome, basically.
Shut up. No dying.
Too late.
Shark.
That's not a free car.
Cars are not free. Cars are DLC.
Yeah.
Paid DLC.
Featuring music by Drunk Girl.
Is that new paint jobs too, maybe?
Maybe.
Look
That
like it.
really, the end there has a real Bioshock vibe.
Yeah, a little bit. So.
Especially that ending there, right?
Come on, all the words and everything are in Bioshock font.
Yeah.
Easter eggs?
Maybe they're adding an Bioshock ornament, hood ornament, or what do they call it? The antenna ornament?
A Big Daddy hood ornament, yeah.
Yeah. So
Or sister, or whatever they're called.
that's that.
I thought I like their content that they put out, so not just because it's free.
I think that blue car is ugly as shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The orange one's kind of funny because it looks like a little, underwater sub type
DSDRV,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah. But the blue one, I don't know what they were going with on that.
I think just a like uber fast torpedo.
Yeah, I guess it's sleek looking.
People like sleek.
Yeah. Phallic. So there's a new Metal Gear Solid Survive gameplay footage on YouTube, and currently when I checked the midday today, it was at 1,500 likes and 24,300 dislikes.
I wonder why.
They asked Hideo Kojima about it, and he reiterated that he's not associated with the game anymore, and questioned where do zombies fit into the Metal Gear Solid universe, which is sort of what we said when we first saw the trailers. What the hell are they doing with this game?
All I have to say is that Kojima must have spent a lot of time making a lot of YouTube accounts.
I think there's universal
I
hate
saw
for
it
this
was
already.
18-1 dislike.
Yeah. Yeah, there's pretty much universal disdain for this game already, and it's not even probably months away. I'm not sure what the release date is, but
It'll still get bought.
yeah, people still buy it, as it always does. But
There's
yeah,
no such thing as bad publicity.
it really does look silly. I don't know what they're going with on it.
They're trying something new.
I guess. Ben, you posted something about Warhammer 40K?
Yes.
What's the information?
Okay, so
I have to read it because I can't remember.
I can't remember.
dude, I have like my memory on reading stuff is not the greatest.
It had something to do with the game going
Yes, the
and then
game
still being on
launches
sale for a while.
Today. The game launches today for Eternal Crusade. Basically, for the people that are on the fence, aka Shadow and a few others, they are going to keep the game at the 15% discount or whatever. For just people that didn't know about the game, to people that want to see a little bit like where it's going to be within that month time. Maybe it improves. Maybe the launch actually is really great because when they add all the content, so on and so forth, who knows? But they said they're just going to be nice about it because some people are just hearing about it this week. Other than that, it's gonna be a game that's gonna be I guess like Rocket League, where they're gonna be putting in free expansions throughout the whole whole lifetime of it, adding in more PvE content, PvP content, PvPvE.
PvPvEB.
There's a lot of stuff basically. But it's basically they're going on saying like it is launching, but it's not the end of it because this universe is going to continue to grow.
Is this an MMO?
I don't think they want to call it an MMO.
It's moderately large only player.
Think of it as a variation on
Lost Planet. No,
what the fuck was that game called?
Planetside.
Planetside?
Planetside, but cooler.
Yeah, in the 40K universe. Thumbs up.
Like giant world?
Where you can play either the Orcs, the Chaos Space Space Marines, or the Eldar, and then there's going to be the random faction that will raid and destroy your buttholes called the Tyranids.
Tyranids, yeah.
Which, if you don't know what that is, think of a Zerg.
Yeah. Bone, to answer your question, yes and no. It's kind of a whole giant planet, but broken down into different battlefields. And it's the way it's kind of broken down to a point is it's the giant planet is to control every faction controls like a part of it, and you kind of fight and wage war across the planet. So,
do we know how many people are involved in these skirmishes at a single time? Is there a maximum number? 10v10 or 100 or?
I think I saw 32 on one side.
That's going to be 32, 64-man server.
Okay.
So.
It might be larger. This was also just like it was a dull day, so
okay.
And it had a scroll. I know that much. I had to scroll.
A lot of people, but not in the hundreds.
They go on saying that the launch is on Friday. There will be a 2-hour special for Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
Like don't like they know that there's a lot of changing of the game and people weren't happy, but they're trying to do what they think is best for the game because they're trying to create it in the image that they see fit. And they also want to help, like they take in the fans' inputs because that's how the beta like came to launch, where they took all the inputs of everyone's voices and fixed up the game, balanced it as much as they could. So
it's an interesting launch because I've heard almost nothing about it except from you guys.
That's a lot of Warhammer 40K base games. You don't hear much about it.
Unfortunately, like I said, with the problem with 40K games is that the lore and the actual storyline 40K is fucking fantastic if you have the time to even try to chip into it. But the games always fall into two categories: unbelievably awesome or horrible positive shit. There is no in between.
And most of the time, even if they are amazingly awesome, it's still hush hush where you usually won't see or hear about it.
Mm-hmm.
The only one you really do hear about is the RTS, which is Dawn of War series.
Yeah.
Which
we saw the
one
video for that one.
Unbelievably, the Dawn of War series has always been fantastic.
I saw a bunch of people playing Vermintide when that came out.
Well, that's not 40K.
Vermintide's,
right.
Yeah,
it's Warhammer.
It's Warhammer Fantasy.
Yeah.
And fantasy usually has a more of an upbringing because people, I guess, can relate more to the fantasy world than the dark 40K universe.
A big, huge dude in a suit.
Let me tell you, man, it's fucking awesome. That's all I have to say.
Another thing is a lot of people think that Games Workshop stole from Blizzard, so that's another reason.
Yeah.
Even though it's the opposite. And that's a whole other discussion another day.
The last thing that I have is North Carolina State and Intel working on this. And correct me if I'm wrong on this, Torzel, since you're the one posted a series of logic circuits, and they call them Q management device or QMD. And what their purpose is they take the information that a program would normally be queuing in a certain order, and it takes it and does that work for the program. Does that sound right?
Sort of, yeah.
And it increased the program's efficiency by like 20 times.
It stacks. It stacks what it needs to do next right at the dice instead of having to do it by a program, so it's just ready to go. They did a test compared it to the letting the software do it, and the hardware did it 20 times faster.
It was a Blender thing, wasn't it? Or am I thinking of a different test?
Blender?
A lot of people benchmark stuff with Blender or test stuff with it. How fast something can render.
I don't know what they used to do it, but I know
I might be thinking of a different test. My bad.
They're finally chipping away at the whole bottleneck problem, which is, God, it's one of those things.
It's one of those things.
It is. It's one of those
everything is great on the computer.
You just have to accept that
bottlenecks everything.
Happen.
Well, if it does what they're saying it does, and it's easy to implement, we could be seeing some significant speed increases in the near future.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what that does for technology.
Yeah, or when they'll use it. If I'm sure they're gonna have to do a lot more tests on it, but
or is it something that actually has to be implemented into the CPU itself, or is it something that's software or
It's a piece of hardware itself. It's a series of circuitry.
So it has to be installed on the motherboard then, most likely.
I'm not sure where it goes. Yeah.
According to this, and not to like jump in and
No, it's okay.
I'm researching, trying to figure out the actual size of the servers, what the limits are. Their goal is to maximize the not having an actual cap. So
That
not
would be
have
pretty big.
Yeah, so their end goal has been to basically have it to where you'll have everybody playing on one one actual server at the same time. So battles with literally, if you have 20,000 people on the server, you might have 10,000 versus 10,000, or 5,000 versus 5,000.
Well, I remember in the beginning of the game they were actually saying that there won't be like any like zoning into fights and everything. One gigantic planet that you'll be fighting different like sections of. So like how PlanetSide 2, you basically just sat in space and waited to drop in. Where in Warhammer, it's basically, if you want to get to the next area, you need to get on a airship to move on to the next area.
They said their goal is to do what PlanetSide did. PlanetSide kind of worked the same way. There really was no like count. It was, you could have 100, 200 people, 300 people playing on PlanetSide at any given time. So the battles were massive, massive, massive in that. But the basic write-up for this is that the player versus player battlefields will be assaulted by 60-plus players at a time. They want to keep increasing it as they get their tech better and they, I guess, work through their server stuff. Squad strategy will be important to crush your foes. Players will also be able to create teams of 5 to fend off swarms of Tyranid in PvE battles, which it sounds to me more that's a pure squad-based combat against PvE where it's just trying to survive. So,
capture points, kill people.
I'm very tempted.
Hey, I'll play with you, babes.
Babes?
Now I'm not tempted anymore. Yeah, that just turned me off.
No, I'm out.
Yeah. Sorry.
The last
you
thing.
almost got him, man. You almost got him.
Almost. I should have used something else. I got alcohol.
You're really close, man.
The last thing we got is some Pokemon Go news.
Pokemon.
They've done a few.
Me and you.
Mark. They've done some. They did an update they added a buddy system, and I actually added a buddy to test it out. What you do is you pick a single Pokemon, you make it your buddy, and when you walk, you can earn the candies for that species. So I picked Pikachu, because I've caught one Pikachu the entire time and I never find him and I really want to evolve it. So I think, and this is just based on my random testing, is that 1 mile equals 1 candy.
No. Yes and no. 2 kilometer egg Pokemon will be 1 kilometer to gain 1 candy. 5 kilometer eggs, I think it's 2 or 3 kilometers you have to walk to gain 1 candy. And then a 10 kilometer egg is 5 kilometers.
And we lost him.
Kilometers.
5
gain 1 candy. Who?
You just lagged out a little bit. So it's about half the normal egg size, or egg walking distance.
I saw this video.
What?
You're like.
So it's about half the walking distance of its corresponding egg.
Basically, okay. Except the 5 kilometer because it's an
right. It would be an odd number, or an uneven number.
2.111111.
Not a whole number. Okay, that's interesting.
You should just give in and just install it, dude.
Yeah, come on, man. You gotta catch them all.
Wait, we're talking to me?
Yeah.
Your own name. Shut up.
No.
Really, the only time I use it is when I take Darcy for a walk so I can hatch some eggs for Piper because she's excited about it. So now I have a buddy.
I have a Magikarp, and I walk it everywhere. Actually, I do the walking. He does the flopping.
Just flops himself.
Magikarp's gonna take a long time to get enough.
Aren't they putting in a battle?
That's the guy.
Yes. Sure. They're going to be. They mentioned a trading system, and they also mentioned the possibility of adding a battle system as well.
A newer battle system.
Yeah, instead of just the battling the gym.
Yeah.
Why don't you talk about how I was 100% right about my prediction of the user fall off base pretty much dropping like by 7.
I think everybody assumed it was going to do that.
And we already talked about that.
And, we talked about it last week, and it's still the #1 game as far as income is concerned.
That's not a high bar.
They lost They lost 75% of their user base, and they're still number one on income. It's insane.
And Nintendo's like, we number one. We number one.
They were not prepared for the amount of people. I think they're prepared for the number of people that are playing it now. They were not prepared for the number of people that were playing it in the first few months. Obviously, by the servers.
They weren't able to open it up to the other regions like they planned to. They had to keep pushing it back and back and back.
Yeah, it was a bit of a mess, but it's cool to see what they're adding, and we'll keep up on it to see what's going on.
It was a hot mess.
Apparently, the number of people buying Pokemon games and trading cards has gone up as well.
So resurgence.
500 million downloads.
Shadow,
500 million downloads. Yes.
500 million downloads.
That's
Flappy
insane.
Birds had the same thing.
Flappy Birds.
Yeah, but Flappy Birds was awesome.
Flappy Birds was just about as repetitive as Pokemon Go is. Pokemon Go, really the biggest gripe with it is they need to diversify the things you catch. If you're not in a city, you're catching Weedles, you're catching birds.
You know what I have in my area? If I don't go to like the one spawn location, I have Pidgeys, Rattatas, Oddishes.
I don't even really have Oddishes. I don't really even get those. Every once in a while I'll see one, but a lot of Pidgeys, lots of Weedles, and lots of rats.
Rats, so many damn rats.
And like the lowest level ones will run away from you. It's like, what the fuck?
I wasted 15 balls.
I'm wasting 2 right now.
On your chin.
Oh.
That's all I got. Anybody else have anything exciting?
On your terrible.
Well, Square Enix.
No.
What?
No.
No. It's got a trailer and everything.
No.
You guys are assholes.
Please, no.
Oh, there's a really good, just to let people know, there's a really good article in Kotaku about Star Citizen right now. It's super long.
Pages
It's
long.
super long. It's going to take you a while to get through it, but it's really worth it. It's a very interesting look into development. It's got sort of a clickbaity title, but actually read the article because it's sort of things that I cheated on.
Articles don't have a clickbaity title.
Yeah, it just is. Yeah, true. But people that want to hate on Star Citizen will use the title against it. When the article itself really is a very fair look at just the trials and tribulations of making a game. They talk about how they've had to scale the game up to such a ridiculous degree, and they go into some serious in-depth stuff. It's very interesting. But go check it out. It's on Kotaku. I'll find out the name of it in a second.
Gets you your Eastern slice of life stuff.
Lice.
Flied lice.
It's called Inside the Troubled Development of Star Citizen. I cheated on Pokemon
An
Go
8-month investigation.
Oh my god, when games get made, there's problems. I'm shocked.
Yeah, it's really. I mean, really,
they break it down very
any
well.
major developer would go through these issues. They don't make it out like Star Citizen sucks. It's nothing like that in the actual article. It's really good.
Talk about some poor decisions made on like Chris Roberts' part,
and like good decisions that turn out to be bad decisions, and it's very interesting.
$4 million on a mansion or something like that.
Well, that's one of the controversy things.
Yeah, I mean, he does get a paycheck.
The fact they kept Sandy Gardner, the fact that that's his wife, kind of.
They screwed up with
Nepotism.
Cryotech engine thing. Should have went with Unreal.
Well, Crytek, he decided Chris Robert made the last call on the Crytek engine because he felt like in its current state it was more mature than the Unreal 4 engine, which was new.
It was in beta still.
But in the end, they got so much funding and they added so much stuff in, they had to gut the FPS part of it out of the Crytek engine that was already in there and develop a whole brand new engine.
They rebuilt it anyway.
Yeah, so if they'd have just waited for a while or like started working with Unreal to build.
Well, that's the thing. They didn't know at the time.
I think they'd have a lot more assets. They'd have a lot more people that know the engine. They'd have easier time than they did with Crytek.
Yeah, it's worth reading in the article because it goes into all that stuff. We can't even really touch the surface of it. It's super long. Super.
Yeah,
long.
It would take like a whole show to do it.
Yeah, it's very in depth. And a lot of the stuff is stuff if you've been following, you know about.
Well, it was like they talk with like over 100 people, past and present.
Yeah.
So there's some people that left under not so happy terms, and a lot of people that left didn't want to talk because they were afraid they were going to get get some sort of repercussion.
A lot of anonymous people in the article.
Yeah.
Which I can understand.
But it is very well done, and it touches a lot of the things that we were wondering about, but had no real frame of reference to what happened. So
yeah.
It was very, very well, very good.
I liked it. So check it out. Inside the troubled development of Star Citizen, and we're probably going to be playing Star Citizen in a couple of minutes.
Dun dun dun.
So do we want to get to that?
Yeah. All
right. Somebody want to do the outro? Because I'm so terrible at it. Check us out on Facebook at The Nightly Grind, on YouTube at The Nightly Grind.
Like and comment on our videos on YouTube.
Yeah,
definitely check our Facebook page out where we post periodically to get everything going and rolling. You'll also find out when we go live. Definitely check out our forums, which is overhauled a couple months ago. It's the tngpub.com. We don't serve the beer, so it's bring your own, but we're a great crew, so we comment on there all the time. We love getting to know you guys and talking with you guys, so great to see you there. As with all other social media, definitely look in the description below for all the information, and also check us out during the week and weekends if we do stream. On Monday nights, I will be hosting Laugh, Rage, Cry. Tuesday nights, we have Gaming with Torn. Wednesday is empty at the moment, but we're trying to fill in whatever we can at that moment or at that time. Thursdays is You Been Boned with Guess Who Bone. Friday night is what we do right now, the vodcast, the Nightly Grind, and we always have a good time, especially arguing. And that's really it. Just I guess like, subscribe, spread our name out there. We are on almost every night grinding it away. So yeah, back to you, Bo.
All right. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. We're going to be playing some Star Citizen together. Hopefully we can get this to work. I don't know if anybody's really logged on in a long time, so it'll be fun to check it out for the first time in a while, at least for me. I don't know about everybody else.
It's been a while since I have,
Yeah. Okay, cool. So we'll see you in a few.